You might be thinking that the title of this video is clickbait, but I can assure you it is not, because I'll literally be showing you in this video how you can get up to 50% off your usual Aliexpress costs. And this not only puts you at a significant advantage because you can outspend your competitors on ads, it also boosts your overall profitability. But before we get into it, I do want to say, subscribe if you do want to see super valuable e-commerce lessons that I've learned over the past 5 years now that I'm posting on a weekly basis. Okay, so let's get into it. How can you literally get up to 50% off your usual product cost? Well, simply, there's a Chinese website called 1688.com that solves all your issues. Essentially, 1688.com is a Chinese retail website that's only meant for users domestically in China. So if you go to the website right now, you can see that everything is in Chinese. It's just hard to use, hard to navigate, and even if you translate it, it's very difficult. And the main restricting barrier, let's say, is that the website only accepts Chinese payment methods like Alipay or WeChat Pay. Now, 1688.com is actually owned by Alibaba, so it's literally operated by the same company that onboards seller onto AliExpress. But because it's designed specifically for users domestically in China, not many people actually know about it, or they're just not bothered to figuring out how to use it in order to actually order stock. Because like I said, the process is extremely hard. But the great thing is that you can find a countless number of actual product manufacturers on 1688.com that offer the products that you're dropshipping at 50% low prices, because there's virtually no middlemen involved. And what I mean by that is essentially a good chunk of the sellers on AliExpress aren't actually manufacturers themselves. They buy stock locally and they just create AliExpress storefronts and dropship products for you. Now, you might also have heard of sourcing agents in many dropship groups that can apparently get you 10-15% cheaper products when you buy in volume from them, so like 40 or 50 orders a day. But however, all these agents are basically doing is just going to manufacturers on 1688.com and buying your products at 50% discounted rates and simply holding it in their warehouse before dropshipping it to you. So if you just cut out the middlemen in that process, which is the AliExpress storefronts and for most people, or just agents for other people, and literally go to 1688.com yourself and communicate with suppliers and order from them directly, then you can save yourselves an absolute fortune. So why don't people talk about it? Now, like I said, the website is just incredibly hard to navigate and figure out. You need to chat to your suppliers in Chinese via WeChat or Ali, which is like a Chinese WhatsApp, and you can't check out on the website yourself. And products can only be shipped domestically within China. So there's so many perceived barriers here, which stops most people from actually taking it any further. But there are a few things you can do to get past these barriers and actually access your products for 50% cheaper. So how do you actually find your products 50% cheaper? We'll go for an example right now, but essentially all you need to do is just go to the 1688.com website. And let's just take a very popular example like the pool vacuum. So you can see over here there's this image icon for reverse image search. We'll switch this back to Chinese just because it's making the website format weirdly. All you need to do is just go ahead and select the image. Go ahead and upload it right now. And this can be for whatever your product you're selling. Just take the most popular product and that you're dropshipping and just do a reverse image search to the website. And you can instantly see that there's many sellers selling this exact same product. And everything is formatted in yuan just because that's the Chinese currency. And again, this is just for domestic users, but we can figure out really quickly what this is in US dollars. So we can see here sellers are selling it from 13 to 16 yuan, some in between. And what that is in US dollars is around $2, let's say $2.50. And if we go to AliExpress and we look for the exact same pool vacuum, you can see the high quality ones where there's actually the 5 nozzles and everything is $8, $10. That's the cheapest you can get it for. So you're literally saving, over 50%, well over 50% in this situation if you buy from 1688. And you can see most sellers don't have minimum order requirements. So unlike Alibaba, you can order really small quantities. And some sellers that do have minimum orders, it's really low. And also you can get bulk discounts if you order huge amounts. So it's just an incredible saving if you do go through 1688.com. Let's go ahead and look at another example here. This is the LED Galaxy projector, which has gone TikTok viral. If you look for this same product on 1688, you can see it's anywhere from 40 to 50 yuan. Let's say it's just 50, so that's about $8. If we go to AliExpress, we can see the top selling variant of this product is $22. So that's nearly 70% off right there. So this is really crazy stuff. You can get huge discounts on the majority of products if you go directly to 1688 and you don't go through multiple agents like you would be going through on AliExpress. So you can literally see that 1688 has these significant discounts on majority of products, but how do you actually go about ordering from 1688 and going through those barriers like I talked about? Now this is where the sort of hard part is, but really once you figure this part out, it's really simple to make extra profit for yourself. So what I personally do is I know someone who lives in China. I met her through Upwork actually, and she wasn't an agent or anything like that. I was actually hiring for another position that she didn't qualify for, but she mentioned to me that she lived in China and could help with product sourcing, which is actually how I ended up finding out about 1688.com. And basically I partnered with her to help me purchase products from 1688 because she's obviously living in China, she has Alipay, and she could buy products on my behalf. And all I did is I actively researched in Facebook groups for different warehouses in China that could hold that stock for me and fulfill the orders. And warehousing stock in China is actually unbelievably cheap just because there's some really big warehouses. And at least in my experience, the pick and pack fulfillment is also very cheap. So simply anything we buy from 1688.com, we send to a warehouse in China who holds our stock and fulfills our orders for our Shopify store. And they obviously have their app that connects directly to our Shopify store. Now, of course, that's a lot more steps than traditionally you would have to go through Aliexpress, where you can simply just place the order on the website yourself. However, I can say that once you get the hang of how the process works, and let's say you're selling at a big scale, a few hundred units a day, you're simply saving 50% or more when you go through 1688.com. And if you do it through someone who lives in China and just get them to send products to a warehouse, now you're not only saving money, but you know kind of exactly how many units of product you have, and you're in control of your inventory. Sometimes when you're working with AliExpress sellers, they can sell out and give you no notification of it. The stock count inside of AliExpress itself can be incorrect, so you never know if you're going to run into an issue when you're scaling. But when you buy directly from 1688, you hold the stock yourself technically, you have an exact idea of how many units you have available to sell, and you can scale comfortably knowing that your supplier won't suddenly say that, hey, I've run out of products, and then you have to go about pausing your ads or refunding orders, whatever you might be doing. So how do you actually go about finding someone who can buy on 168 for you? Well, I had a look around and there are a few agents who specifically do this. You can simply type in 1688 sourcing agents into Google and you can find quite a few, but they all seem to charge 5 or 10% of the total order value, which is insane. So that's just immediately cutting off the 50% saving you might be getting. And there aren't really that many options out there, but if you're a bit smart like me, what I recommend doing is go find someone who lives in China, who's not necessarily an agent, but are willing to take a small fee from you just to source products on your behalf. And they should be willing to negotiate with the suppliers, speak to them, communicate them about the whole delivery process, etc. Because like I said, you need to speak to them in Chinese, and it's very hard to translate back and forth in Chinese. So I would recommend getting the agent or whoever you're working with to do that part on your behalf. And as long as you can find someone that you can trust, and again, trust is something you build up over time. If you find someone you can trust and build a relationship with them, and you can slowly start placing more bigger and bigger orders through them, you might have potentially found a way to actually get products 50% cheaper through 1688.com and not pay crazy fees on sourcing agents doing that process for you as well. Now, of course, there are a couple of other costs to factor in because it's not as simple as just ordering from 1688.com. You do need to send products from your warehouse to your customer's location, so there's a delivery fee as well, and there's also the pick and pack fee. Obviously on AliExpress, those costs are included. On 1688, they're not because you're shipping domestically to another warehouse who does fulfillment on your behalf. So you have to take these costs into consideration. How much does your product cost to ship from the warehouse? You can get a quote from the warehouses that you're working with just to see in terms of weight, how much would X product cost to ship to X country. And then when you add up all those numbers and it makes perfect sense that you're still getting a much better deal if you go through 1688 directly and working with a warehouse, then I would say definitely go ahead with it. And of course, like I said, there are many more things that you need to keep an eye over. On AliExpress, you just need to speak directly to your seller and they will keep you in touch with everything that's going on. 1688, you do need to be aware of the entire ordering process through your agent or through the person you're working with, their communication with the supplier, making sure everything is smooth, the delivery to the warehouse, making sure all the stock count is correct, etc. And then the final fulfillment and pick and pack. So there's many more relationships and many more things you need to keep an eye over. But in general, if you are able to do that effectively, you can literally save yourself a ton on product costs, and it's very much worth it if you're operating on a high scale. And sometimes more oversight is actually a great thing because like I said, you don't need to worry about inventory issues because you know the exact amount of product that you have in stock at any given time. The supplier won't randomly surprise you saying that they ran out of stock and then you have to pause ads or you have to find a new supplier all in a sudden. If you order in advance through 1688, and there's dozens of suppliers out there, you can get many different suppliers for your same product. then you don't have to worry about inventory suddenly running out. But that is it for this video, guys. I did want to keep it really short and sweet. What I would recommend you doing is go ahead and just saving a product picture and uploading that onto 1688. Do a reverse image search like I said, or just type it in into Chinese and just see what your product actually costs to manufacture on 1688, because these are all local manufacturers, unlike Aliexpress, which is mostly middlemen and sellers setting up storefronts who are dropshipping on behalf of someone else. And you can easily calculate shipping prices also by going to a few websites that calculate epacket shipping prices, and just work out, does it make sense for you to actually go ahead and order directly through an agent, or would you be willing to save an extra $2, $3, $4 per unit by going through 1688.com and then ordering to a warehouse and letting them fulfill for you. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope that was helpful. Drop a like down below if you did find it valuable. If you have any questions on how I work through 1688.com, feel free to drop it down in the comments down below, or you can hit me up on Instagram. I drop my handle on the screen, so message me there if you have any questions. And again, subscribe if you do want to see more useful e-commerce content like this that I've learned over the past few years. But with that being said, guys, I will see you on the next one.
Entrepreneur gang, entrepreneur gang, entrepreneur gang, entrepreneur gang. This is for my entrepreneur gang,